So if you guys aren't aware, 2 characters for the 7th anniversary have already been leaked. MUI Goku and SSBE Vegeta. They are both transforming units, but even that is an assumption. They might be a tag unit, we don't know yet. But what we do know is these 2 characters, whether it's 1 unit or 2, have been revealed. Officially by them, but they deleted the tweet. But of course, the community got to it and now it's everywhere. But in this video, I want to break down that they do this intentionally. This is not an accidental leak. This was planned and plotted to build up hype. I believe at this point they are definitely doing it on purpose. If before they were doing it on accident, they're just chiming in on the joke right now. But the question for you guys in this video, at the end of the video, let me know whether you think this was a genuine accident or they did it on purpose. Let's get into all the pieces of evidence. I just want to record this small segment before we get into the video to validate the idea that this leak is real. There are still some people that believe that this is not real, but the first thing I want to tell you is that they put out a tweet. You can even check yourself through third-party apps that they made X tweet at this time and it was deleted. But there's numerous amount of witnesses. Lots of people added me under the Dragon Ball Legends post, but I wasn't awake at the time so I didn't see it. But there are screenshots available like I'm showing you on the screen now, and I'm also showing you that people were adding me that this unit leaked. But just putting that out there for the disbelievers before we step into analyzing whether this is intentional or a genuine accident. The first piece of evidence that makes this super suspicious is the way that it was posted. So they never got round to posting it on the English version, but they did post it on the Japanese version of the Dragon Ball Legends Twitter account. If you looked at the post, and something that a lot of people pointed out is that it was posted, or rather scheduled, on the 15th of May, meaning that 5 days ago from the leak today, meaning it was scheduled to post today, on the 20th was when the developers decided to upload it. Now honestly, I think that's a very weird time to post a trailer. I think there's 2 things that make this very suspicious. The timing of them scheduling it. So they only scheduled it 5 days prior. You can schedule videos a large time ahead, and I'm pretty sure they did not just finish off designing these units recently. They definitely had them in the bag, because like I've mentioned before, they have to do a lot of prep work for these reveals. They have to do a lot of prep work for the anniversary. They have to build up the game, so it's not just a unit release. There's a lot of advertisement that goes into this to make sure that they can make the most money that they want to make for this anniversary. Posting 5 days before the 20th is weird in itself, but if it was a promotional trailer for hype, was it a wrong upload? It seems pretty unprofessional for them to do that. We also should point out that when you upload a video to Twitter, you have to wait for it to load. Now granted, they might have the best internet in the world, but even then it will take at least a second and they will be able to see from the first frame whether it's what they want to upload or not. Surely they would also check before they just go ahead and upload it, given that it's something that's going to promote their upcoming celebration. They don't want to make a mistake, especially with the fact that they've made mistakes in the past. This is not their first time or second time, this is their 5th time. Anyways, the scheduling of the video in itself is strange. The timing they scheduled it, which was 5 days ago, it being scheduled for the 20th in itself is very strange, and the video selection in itself is the most strange thing. Now if you look at the video, right, it was posted on the 20th of May. However, the reveal is on the 23rd, which is 3 days earlier than it should have been. But not just that, the timing, not just the date, the time it was posted is completely off. They posted this at 5:14 a.m. That is such a awkward time for something to be scheduled. That doesn't even make sense. Not at all. So for something that was scheduled 5 days before and it appeared on everybody's timeline 5 days later, and then the timing is off and the date is off, it's either this is negligence at the highest degree or it was intentional. And with just a tiny bit of common sense, you can put together that it's more likely that this is intentional. This is a big company. They don't just make mistakes like this with the same unit every single time. The date, the time, and it's scheduled. That's too much of a coincidence for me to say, yeah, they just make a lot of mistakes. You could argue that they have a mole, but then again, you'd think they put out a apology for something like that, but they don't. In most cases, they keep it quiet and it just brush it over as if it didn't happen, which is more likely why it's a marketing technique that they're using to pull in more players for their 7th anniversary. I want to analyze the video as well. Something that a lot of people noticed is that the video doesn't have any sound. Why didn't wouldn't they put any sound in this promotional video? It doesn't make sense that they wouldn't be sound. In almost every single piece of promotional content that they put out, it has some type of sound. There wasn't no impacts, there wasn't no background music, there was nothing. It's a muted video, which makes it feel like it was intended to be leaked on purpose. I think it's very strange that they would just have a muted version of a promotional trailer just sitting in their camera roll on the computer that they used to upload this. So I feel like it was built that way so that once it goes ahead and spreads through the Dragon Ball Legends community, at least they wouldn't have anything such as the copyrighted music that they might use for the promotion bring any issues back to them. If it's just gameplay, they can get away with it, but if there was a lot more than that, maybe they would get in trouble. This is a bit of headcanon, but in general, there being no audio is suspicious in itself. I mentioned this before, but this isn't their first rodeo. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, not even 4 times now. This is their 5th time and leaking the same units every single time. The purple UI, the red UI, the green UI, and Ultra UI. They've leaked every single Ultra Instinct Goku that we've had in Dragon Ball Legends, and they want us to believe that this was an accident. They also don't put out apologies when things like this happen. I think they did one time because what they dropped was an animation when they leaked the Rev UI, but besides from that, they don't put out apologies when they put out a video and delete it. In some cases, you might be able to chop it down to an accident. For example, the App Store. If something goes up on the App Store early, that could potentially be an accident, especially depending on how it was discovered. For example, I believe MUI Goku was discovered through Inspect Element. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it was the App Store, which means that it wasn't meant to be discovered, but it just was. But in general, they're also just not careful. You think maybe after their first time, maybe you give them some leeway and say their second time, but the 3rd time it happened, and the 4th time it happens, and the 5th time it happens, this doesn't look like an accident anymore. They definitely know what they're doing, and if you fall for it, boy, you're simply a part of their marketing scheme, and it's working, to be honest. They don't do it for any other character, and that's also a factor of it. I'd understand if it was different units here and there, but every single time it's an Ultra Instinct Goku, and that is too big of a coincidence. It has to be intentional at this point. At the end of the day, this is all the evidence that I've got, and it doesn't exactly confirm whether it was intentional or not unless they were to say something outright. But we can make our own conclusions based on what we have. This could definitely just be negligence, or somebody in their team is genuinely just screwing with them, or it could have been something intentional. There's no confirmation, but it's more about just analyzing their patterns so that when we move forward, we know what to expect. So even though I've produced this video as if it's a fact or not, it's obviously literally not a fact, but you can use your own brain cells and read in between the lines. That's all the evidence that I've got to say that this is intentional. I'm more of a believer of it being intentional, and I was prefacing it saying that for a long time that if MUI is going to arrive for the 7th anniversary, though like everybody else I was anticipating an Ultra, he will get leaked, and if he doesn't get leaked, he doesn't arrive. In this case, he's showing up and he has got leaked. Let me know what you believe in the comment section below. For me, it's a no-brainer. This is on purpose. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you haven't already, make sure to press the subscribe button. We're on this grind to 200,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching, man. My name's Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.